Good evening. Happy election night. Hope everyone has voted and ultimately you get what you would like. Tonight I am going to discuss the parable of the Sadhu. I think I'm saying that correctly. The Sadhu. Um, I wanted to talk about the breakdown between the individual and the corporate ethics. There seems to be a disconnect between the individual ethics and the corporate ethics. So the corporate ethics is going to be united because there's a common goal, there's a common vision, there's something that we all as a group can work towards or together towards. The individual ethics is your own personal goal. So I have a goal that I want to um, reach the summit of this mountain, and that is my goal ultimately. Um, McCoy and his fellow hikers were actually more worried about accomplishing their goal of summiting the mountain instead of helping the holy man. Yes, they did help him in certain ways, but it contradicts the corporate ethics of helping the holy man down the mountainside. It contradicts their goal, like where they want to be, which is finishing the hike and setting out to do what they wanted to do for this goal. Um, their actions, Bowen helped to a point, but he didn't want to deter from his goal, as I originally stated. Stephen, in their group, however, held to an absolute notion of ethics. He actually wasn't able to accomplish that because he didn't have the support of the group as a whole, and he couldn't accomplish getting the individual down the mountainside on his own. The group ultimately held values that were similar as Bowen's because they helped the holy man to an extent by getting him warm and giving him food and things that would help him to become more cognizant of his surroundings, hopefully get down the mountain on his own. But it didn't actually deter from their ultimate goal. It didn't hinder their destination because in the end they all wanted to summit that mountain. And they were afraid they wouldn't be able to accomplish that goal if they helped the holy man down the mountainside. Um, the leadership that was present, I believe, was only present with one hiker, which is Stephen. He wanted to take the man back down the mountain, even if that meant that he himself did not get to summit the mountain. Um, the other individuals in the group didn't actually display this value or quality of leadership that Stephen himself portrayed. He wanted to um, he presented in a way that showed him as the leader, even though did the group really need a leader? Each individual should have at that point considered their ethical obligation to the holy man. They shouldn't have been thinking as a whole because ultimately they aren't a whole. They aren't a group. They were individual hikers all out to accomplish their own goals, even though at that point in time, summiting the mountain was similar. Um, the cultural aspect was missing because of the varied backgrounds, because you don't know if the Japanese culture or the other cultures, the American culture, have that instilled in them at such a young age that it grows with them. So that united cultural value wasn't present in each hiker, and it could have um, had a different result if each individual thought that way. The moral of the story for me is when you're in a difficult situation, an individual should play the what if scenario. This is something that I learned while I was in law enforcement, but it also helps me in my military and it also helps me at my regular accounting job because it shows like what if this were to happen? What would you do? And would that result be what ultimately needed to be done? Is it ethically and morally correct? It helps the person determine if what they're doing is the right thing. So each person should step back and they should ask themselves if the chosen path is for the best or if it suits their own interests. Am I looking out for myself or am I trying to accomplish something as a whole? Um, Ultimately, I think that they could have actually done a lot better than what they did, but we'll never know because the story's already been completed. Hopefully, this answers all of your questions regarding the parable of the Sadhu, and have a great and to your election night.